Good morning. Big welcome back to Shmiel. Big welcome back to Shmiel. He realized after a while, it took a while, but he realized that there's nothing in America. He come back to Eretz Yisrael, he come back to Yeshiva. Baruch Hashem. Okay, let's continue the sugya of Boneh. I would like, the truth is, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Rabbi Sai. We're actually going to finish the sugya of Boneh, and even though there is so much more to do, there's huge amounts more to do. But I want to start a new series, Be'ez Hashem, next week, which we'll be doing next week, B'siyata Dishmaya. But I really want to finish up as much as we possibly can. There is more to do. There's always more to do. Maybe we'll get back to it one time. But Lamaisa, we've done a tremendous amount, and I want to start a new series, Be'ez Hashem, next week. So here we go. This is a circuit that we've touched upon, but I want to make it very, very clear. There's a Moedik Pri Megadim. The Pri Megadim in Shin Yud Gimel brings down like this. He says that anything that is made to be taken apart and put back together again, says the Pri Megadim, that's mutter. There's no boina with something that the whole yisoid of the item, of the usage of the item, is to be used through taking it apart and putting it back together again. Memele zuk the Pri Megadim, that is considered to be mutter. Why? The longest the Pri Megadim says is that by boina, when you build something, generally speaking, when you don't build al manas to, dismantle or to demolish. Nobody does that. Nobody builds a house and says, I'm going to try it out. If it doesn't work out, we'll just, put it back together again and find a new way. When you build, it's normally likiyum. It's normally there for a long time. And you're normally mavatel. What's going on, what you're putting there to each other to become one unit. Therefore, says the Pri Megadim, the Lomdus is, anything that the mahalach of the usage of this thing is by putting it together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart, that's not boineh b'chalal. Now, I know what the olam are very bothered by. I'm going to preempt the question before the olam ask, but this is the obvious kasha. Gemara Shabbos, Mem Zayin, Amud Aleph. What do you do with mitzvah shel trusim? What do you do with the case where the Gemara says in Shabbos, Mem Zayin, that you have a bed, and this bed was a foldable bed, so to speak. It was a collapsible bed. Rashi says they used to take it from place to place, whatever. So this bed was a bed, and then you could collapse it, fold it up, whatever it was, how it looked, and then take it to the next destination. The Gemara tells us, "Yuchayiv mishum boineh." It's a chayiv chatas, issa d'oraisa chayiv skila. So how could the Pri Megadim come along and tell me that it's okay in a situation where it's normally made to assemble and disassemble? What does that mean? It's often a Gemara. What, the Pri Megadim lost the Gemara? He didn't know the Gemara? What does that mean? So for that, we have to learn the Avnei Nezen Simon Reish Aleph. There's not too much, Rabbi say. I know it's early in the morning, but we're just going to simple stuff. The Avnei Nezen said in Simon Reish Aleph, he brings the kasha, he brings the teretz. And he says you have to understand, by the mitzvah, the bed that we're discussing in the Gemara, was a bed that has certain pins. And when you insert those pins in it, you're almost like building it. Yes, it's collapsible. Yes, it was made to travel with you. But it's made to sort of come apart in a different way. That wasn't the usage of the item. It was just a chetimsa moving it to a different place and kind of rebuilding it in the next place. That's the Avnei Nezen teretz, which means, according to that, we have to done each thing that's collapsible or demolishable, if that's a word, and figure out whether or not it's over mishum boineh, or it's not over mishum boineh, or not. In other words, is the derech tashmisha, is the way of using the item by taking it apart, or is it not taking it apart? That's the kasha. So let's just make a couple of examples over here so we can understand. We spoke about this previously. If you have a lid of a salt shaker, so that's clear that that's not going to be boineh. Why not? Because at the end of the day, if that would be stuck onto the shaker, you would what? You would throw it out and get a new one. Because the metzias is the way of using it, Shaya, is by opening it and closing it the whole time so that you can refill it with salt. Otherwise, there's no usage for it anymore. So if the derech tashmisha becomes the way of usage it is by opening and closing, by taking it apart, putting it back together again, then that would not be a problem. For example, you have a high chair for a child that has a tray that you can know to put on, take it off. When you put the baby in, you take off the tray, then you put it back on. Obviously, that is going to be mutter, because that is the mahalach, how you use it, and therefore that would be okay. So they asked from Shlomo Zalman, what happens, for example, if it's something that stays on for a very long time? Let's take an example of an extendable table. You have an extendable table, and they have leaves inside the table, right? You extend it, you pull it out, you have leaves that you put inside, it clicks together, whatever. Every mechanism is different, but the basic idea is the same. And you're going to leave it there for a long time, right? whatever it is, the Zman begins, the boys are coming back, it's going to be a long table now, till the end of the winter, till after Pesach, right? So now, I'm putting it in on Shabbos, and it's going to stay there for a long time. Reb Shlomo Zalman, what's that? On Shabbos I'm talking about. I need it on Shabbos now, Avi. Very good. And that's also a kasha, but the Magen Avraham asked the kasha in Shimon Gimel, if you're allowed to do achana for one Shabbos to another Shabbos. Right? Good. Dain Weiss in Minchas Yitzchak, it says kosher lahati. Doesn't really like it. Rav Osner, Shevet HaLevi Paskins, and Reb Shlomo Zalman Paskins, most Paskim go with the Mahalach, that even if it's there for a long time, then it's mutter. So if I'm extending my table on Shabbos, and I'm going to leave the leaves there for a long time, then that will be okay. That will not be a problem in that case over there. By the way, just to mention something that we have previously mentioned, but it's important to mention again, is the bottle of the ketchup, right? Which is always so schwer to understand, this bottle of the ketchup. The only remembers, we discussed it already, right? We did it this year, right? Svidar, we didn't do it? We did it already. Zev, we didn't do it? Moish, Toby, we didn't do it? No?
Israeli or American?
Oh, Moish remembers. Very good. Excellent. Gavaldi. A bissel chazorah for the oilam. Bissel chazorah. Be'etzem it's a shinyal gimel suga shinyal zayim Magen Avraham. That if you take the lid off the ketchup, Yaakov, and you, for the first time, and you take it off, and then you peel off that little, plastic thing that's for freshness or whatever, and then you put the lid back on, you screw it back on, are you ever going to remove that lid? So the Magen Avraham tells us in Shinyut Zayin, you be'etzem oivram Boneh makebapatish, really, because you've been mavatal it over there, because no one really, as far as they know, nobody says, oh, let's put the ketchup in the garbage, hold on a minute, we must remove the lid first. I never saw such a person. If you did, come speak to me later, we'll deal with it. But Al Kaponim, if you leave it over there, right, what does that mean? That means it's going to be mavatal over there. So once you've been mavatal it to that place, so it's all over. So it's finished, it's over. So says Moish very nicely, that he said very beautiful. It depends if you're Israeli or an American. What does that mean? If you're an Eretz Yisrael, where the mahalach is to unscrew it and scrape out every little bit inside, so no, that's that became the derech, and therefore it's not you've been butler when you put it there for the first time. Masha'egin in America, land of Shefa, where nobody goes and takes off the lid in order to scrape out a few things over there. Memela, you could do that. Now, games. What about games? What about Lego, for example? Is Lego a problem on Shabbos Kodesh? Okay, what is the din? Now, there's no shaila that Lego is made in order to put together and then to dismantle. Because, I mean, it's true that people build things and put it on their shelves, I understand that. But generally it's made to play with, and if it would be a one-time toy, it would be very, 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 not very popular. But it's popular because it's a very, very good toy that you can keep on using and keep on making different things with. And mainly it's made to do it in that way. So according to that, most Gedolei Poskim hold that there is absolutely no problem with losing Lego on Shabbos. Mutar lechatchila. There's no problem because, again, it's the same sugya, what we mentioned from the Pri Megadim, where it's made to open and close. And this is, by the way, just in case you want names for those people that are writing notes. If you want names, there's a tshuva that sits Eliezer Siv Gimel. Rab Chaim ben Chacham ben Tzina Shaul in the Ole Tzion, Chacham Ovadia and Yabia Oima and Yechavadas, the Debet Tzina Rovim ben Moshe, Yalki Yosef Begil Sefer, Rafalke Maxel Yoram, Nissen Kavelis, from Shlomo Zalman. They all hold that it's mutar lechatchila. There's no problem whatsoever. Rav Elyashiv and Rav Moshe were a little bit machmir in this case over here, and they said it depends obviously on the age of the child. By the way, I'm not going into children on Shabbos. There's a wonderful little book about it. Everyone should have in their homes, of course, on Shabbos. It's a sugya in Shulchan and Simon Shin Mem Gimel. We can pass it like the Ramah, the second Shita, the Chai Odom. That upon him, it depends on the age of the child. If he's doing it for himself and he's under chinuch, then you don't have to stop him based on Eimut Suvan Lafrishoy, whatever it is. What? What about an adult playing it? So they would say, the Machmir would say that it's a problem. With Shaimek, by the way, with Shaimek Stammers I held that there's no Issa on Boneh on a kid's toy. By definition, Boneh is not a kid's toy. It's a kid's toy. I'll give you an example. Rav Falk has a tshuva. I just want to finish, if you don't mind. Rav Falk has a tshuva in Machzeliyahu, in Chelik Aleph, where he brings down the following. He brings down what happens to Lego. By the way, the same would be by clicks. No nafkamina be'etzem. And he brings down the shaila of Boneh. And then he says, but hold on a minute. Even if it's going to be okay because of Boneh, there's another two shilas that you have to worry about. This is Gavaldik, Rabbi. The godless of Shabbos, the godless of Torah is everything's together. You have to know everything to know everything. So if it's not going to be Boneh, it might be what? No, building it. Very good. Thank you, Nasameya. Oil, right? That will be oil. Why is it oil? If you create a situation of oil that you have a tefach underneath, that could be oil. If you're going to use the underneath, whatever. What else could it be? Boyer, I guess when you separate it, but if you're using it now, no, when you're building it, what else could it be? Hello? Come on, guys. Come on. Kosher? No. No, not Makar Badish. Reuven, what do you say, Reuven? Hello, Dov, no? Rabbi Kosev, you're writing! What is writing? I was going to say that. What Shaykh is writing, so Ksiva, by the way, some halacha we have to redo. We have to redo this. It's been a while. Ksiva doesn't only mean writing, but it means making a picture that defines something, that gives over a message, and therefore there could be an is of Ksiva. Now, if Shomeg Zatzal would hold that there's no problem of Ksiva, there's no problem of oil, no problem of Boneh, because it's a kid's toy, and therefore you don't have to worry. Rabbi said our time is up, but I do want to tell you two other things. By the way, Agav, even though we're going to just mention it, but it's not going to be explained at this moment of time, the Chazon Ish holds that all electricity is Boneh. Whenever you have electricity, that is called an Issa D'Oraisa Boneh. Why? Because you're completing a circuit. And completing a circuit is Boneh, and therefore electricity could be an Issa D'Oraisa. According to Chazon Ish, yeah, there were many Wacholik. It's not a time right now to discuss that. And the last thing we have to discuss is, of course, food. Because the Gemara says quite clearly in Shabbos that if you take cheese, makabitz, you take the pieces, you put it together to become one thing, they could be over on Boneh even with food. So that everybody asks the kasha, are you allowed to take a scoop on Shabbos and scoop, right? The ayam mitzvibel, right? Are you allowed to do that, right? Or the liver, whatever it may be. Are you allowed to scoop these things together? So the poskim say it's mutter, a person is allowed to scoop things together. There's not a problem of bekabitz chalakim. It's not a problem of Boneh, especially as it's temporary. It's going to be eaten also, other haterim as well. Be'ez Hashem Aboisai, Siyat Shmaya, we should be mekayim the halachos, we should know the halachos. Next week, brand new sugya. Have a wonderful day.